Well, that actually leads to the second lightning round question, buy or sell. Are you buying or selling the idea that customer feedback loops are the key to product market fit?
100%. Yeah, bye. There we go.
Okay, boom. Well, it's fine. No, we can dig in a little bit. We didn't get a chance to talk about this actually in the deep dive, but one of the things, your actionable steps for founders, was to establish feedback loops. And we talked about multiple listening posts, and that when
Mhm.
you move from being the founder-led sales where you're talking to customers every single day and you're relying on a sales team, that part of the reason you might fall out of product market fit is if you don't have enough feedback loops. So what would be a couple of examples of feedback loops that people could put in place that is going to help them continue to be plugged in, as you described, to the core customer concerns, issues, pain that you're trying to resolve?
Yeah, well, okay, I'll tell you, like, when I was at Motive, we had our senior leadership meeting every Monday morning. My job as the VP of customer success was come with a customer story every single week. That wasn't on the like, hey, here's what we're going to cover. That was like the unwritten piece. Like, I need to add color to what's happening in our business through the
Mm,
stories of our customers. It ended up being one of the things that the other leaders would like the most. And probably the thing that our founder, Shoaib Makani, would push me on the most.
mm,
Put like, as the senior most customer success leader, like, you better know your customers cold. Your job is to inform the entire organization. Like you say, you're that listening post that's informing everybody these customer stories, right? People talk in numbers and people talk in stories. And
mm.
so you got to make sure that, you know, you can give the number, but people may not remember the number. But what they'll remember is the color around it. Hey, this was a problem and we solved it because of this, or this is a problem and it's causing this grief in this person's life. Those are the things that become currency in organizations and flow and inform your why. So CS leaders, you are like lightning rod number one. You're that listening post. But as a founder, find those early employees, like do those walk and talks, step level meetings with the people on the front lines and ask them, those questions. Ask them questions that maybe you know the answer to. Maybe they have a different perspective.
Yeah, no, great ideas. A couple other suggestions, and these aren't, radically new, but I think when you get to a big enough size where you're doing all hands, is have spotlights. Have a spotlight on a sales deal. Have a spotlight on a customer success deal, where people are telling the stories about why that customer expanded with you or why they went long. I think in Slack, having wins channels where you talk about, why did people win a deal? Why did someone renew a deal? The other thing that I stole from Mark Benioff, which I thought was brilliant. So he did a red account process every Friday, and he would sit on the call with the customer success team, going through all not all, but the top customers that were being escalated. And I think it really sends a cultural signal to the entire company if the CEO and the executive team are spending time every single week talking about the customers, where they're struggling, implementation, adoption, coming up for renewal. How do you engage executives in the renewal process? How do you get an executive sponsor program? So I think it really is a DNA thing, and there's
Mhm.
multiple ways to set up the listening posts.
Oh, you know what? I was on Twitter or X, and there's this thing that I follow, and it's like internal emails. And they try and like gaslight CEOs by like, can you believe they sent this CEO internally? And I think it was a Larry Ellison one. And it was basically like, give me updates every hour on the health of this customer until this problem is solved. And it was like, it was a pretty aggressive email. But I thought to myself, like, this individual has built a pretty darn big, company, and the fact that they care about an individual customer with that much intensity, I don't know. Maybe there's something there. Maybe like that's important, right? So you want to look for that. Maybe that's a job seeking thing. It's like sometimes like founders by nature, they're some of the best people in the world, but they're also some of the most difficult people in
Yeah,
the world.
right.
The good
Sure.
ones. The good ones are. And so look for that like that bend around like, are they going to be really intense if I drop the ball on a customer? And that's not a bug, that's a feature.